Welcome back to another instalment of New Zealand's Bird of the Week, where in this video I will be talking about the hihi, incredibly rare and striking birds which have quite interesting genetics and ways of going about breeding. I hope you enjoy. Hihi, also known by their English name of stitchbirds, which comes from their call, are small, medium-sized forest birds found in the North Island and surrounding offshore islands, measuring about 18 cm in length and weighing around 30 to 36 grams in weight, comparable in size to bellbirds. Both sexes have down-curved blackish bills, alongside bold white wing bars, with males having black heads with white ear tufts, as well as a band of yellow on their shoulders, with the females being a more subtle mix of olives and browns. Their Maori name of hihi comes from a term used for the rays of sunlight, which came about from observing the bright shoulders of the male hihi, which would light up in a burst of yellow as they darted through the trees, with them being said to capture the healing rays and spreading them throughout the forest. Their taxonomy and evolutionary relationships have long puzzled ornithologists until recently as well, with birds originally described as a member of the honeyeater family, Melophagidae, which made sense until it didn't. Further genetic evidence has found that they are not closely related to these birds, and their closest relatives are actually within the family Arcoleo, the New Zealand wattlebirds, so animals like kokako, huia and saddleback. To contain them, due to them still being quite different from them, a new family of birds was erected, being known as the Notiomystidae, hihi being their only member. They feed on nectar, invertebrates and fruits, the proportions of which vary with availability and time of the year. Birds are however less dominant than bellbird and tui, which frequently outcompete and exclude hihi from food sources due to their more aggressive behaviour, and so are often the last to feed in many instances where all three are present in good numbers, meaning they often feed on lower quality food sources. Hihi breeding is pretty curious, in that their anatomy and behaviour makes them among the most peculiar of birds anywhere in the world, and not just in New Zealand. Their mating system and social structure is quite complex, involving a variable mating system and numerous different interactions among individuals. Several female and male birds have been reported visiting other nests, with chicks from various areas getting together to form creches after fledging and performing a good deal of behaviour that have been interpreted as play, though a lot of it is poorly understood, and more needs to be learned on it. Their variable mating system is very unusual among birds, with only 6 other passerines, in addition to hihi, having been reported as polygynandrous, having multiple male and female partnerships. Because of this, competition is very high, and to raise the chances of males passing on their respective genes, their testicles are 4 times larger than compared to other birds to produce more sperm, sometimes being even larger than their brains at times. They mate in 2 different positions, the common male on female back, and, very unusually for birds, face to face, which are often forced, mainly being carried out by extra-paired males. Hihi used to be prevalent across the North Island, though this didn't last, since they began to decline shortly after European arrival, becoming extinct on the mainland and many offshore islands by 1885, last being seen on the mainland in the Tararua Range, mainly down to pressure from introduced avian diseases and pests. Only a small population on Little Barrier Island survives, and for a long time remained there, until 60 of them were translocated to Zealandia Eco Sanctuary in Wellington, which marked their return to the mainland after an absence of over 100 years. They are today found in 7 other locations, with an estimated total population of over 2,000, and likely more, though their recovery is hampered in some ways. Hihi are among the first species to vanish from areas of bush where pests are present, so while being a great indicator of forest health and ecological restoration, preferring more mature forests, they are incredibly vulnerable to any incursions and don't cope well with them at all. Birds also have low genetic diversity, given that the whole of the Little Barrier Island population live in an area of about 28 km squared, and up to 30% of all their eggs fail to hatch, having such small numbers. Conservation efforts have led to an improvement in this area, though more needs to be done to ensure that hihi have a consistent mainland presence. And with that, I thank you for watching this instalment of New Zealand's Bird of the Week. For next time, you're able to vote for the Chatham Island pigeon, large pigeons even bigger than their mainland caribou relatives that are often seen patrolling the ground. With that, I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.